Welcome to the Old Lady Hour with Lorrie and Sheryl. And today's guest is Liz Lane. She is an artist and a budding politician, and we're also related. We're pretty closely related. She's my daughter, which, you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the introduction. Your voice goes up just a tiny bit when you do these.
We're going to have fun today. It's going to be weird. I've never interviewed someone like this closely related before.
I know.
So
I feel like it's going to expose everything about us.
Maybe. I wonder if people can tell who's talking.
I was thinking about that too.
Can
you tell the difference between our voices just listening?
Okay. Good.
I can. You're good.
Good. We're asking our producer, Sheryl, And I want to point out just another clarification. We are the Old Lady Hour, but we interview people who are not necessarily old ladies.
Not yet.
Not yet, but they can be honorary old ladies for at least during the interview. But I just wanted people to know, and also that some of our guests may not want to be classified that way. So
I will say though, my kids ask me like what happened back in the old days, so they think I'm an old lady. So it just depends on who you ask.
That's right. It's all perspective.
That's correct. And today's episode is also brought to us by Overly Helpful Helene. When you need someone to be overly helpful, ask Helene.
We'll tell you more about that later.
We'll work on the promo code soon.
This is like Ask Jeeves.
We're working on it. So, first of all, let's start off with the real reason you're here today and why the timing matters is because it's not about the art, which we're definitely going to talk about. But the first thing we're talking about.
It's always about the art.
It's always about the art, but there's an election coming up in Hoover, the city of Hoover, Alabama. So anyone who lives anywhere in the Hoover city limits, make sure you're eligible to vote. Do you know if there's a deadline for registration?
To vote? I do not know what it is. I should know that. But I do know that our lovely Secretary of State has removed a lot of people from
the voter rolls.
So make sure you're registered.
There's ways online to do that. We can maybe put that on the YouTube.
And know where your polling place is. It's the same place that you go to vote for everything else.
It's not different for a municipal election?
No.
Okay.
You're going to go to your normal voting place, and you are going to vote for, if you're in Hoover. Actually, there's a bunch of municipal elections all over Birmingham, and I think they're all August 26th. I could be wrong, but I know Birmingham's is August 26th.
The reason Tuscaloosa's is a little bit complicated, but partly has to do with university students. Here it is. It's 15 days before the election day.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so cool. Just make sure that you are registered 15 days before.
But just go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, that's good.
Just do it now.
Don't wait. And so Liz is running for?
I'm running for City Council, Hoover City Council in place 3. But if you live in Hoover, we are not districted, which we should be, but that's a different story. But you will vote for all of the 7 city council seats and the mayor when you go to vote.
So you have a lot of choices.
Yes.
You have to pick 7 people plus the mayor.
Yes, you pick 8 people.
8 people total. And so you are one of those.
Yes.
And so just look for Liz Lane, make sure you
I'm
vote
the
for her.
First name in place 3.
Place 3.
And that is just because of alphabetical order, not because I'm special, but.
No, it's because you're special. So it's an easy name to remember.
Liz Lane.
Yeah, so Liz, tell us why you're running for city council.
So I got into it for a variety of reasons. This is a nonpartisan election with a wink and a nod, but I'm not hiding that I am not proud of the direction that our country is going with this growingly fascist regime. And so when Trump was elected, the next day I had to tell my 2 daughters, your granddaughters, that a man named Donald Trump had beat Harris. And they are old enough to start to understand that a woman has never been elected to the president of the United States. And I wanted to really challenge the narrative that women can't be in leadership, and so I thought the best way to do it was to start in the home. I also just felt a calling to be an advocate, and I didn't know the best way to be an advocate, because I think things in politics can be confusing when you actually want to get involved, and I think they're confusing on purpose to keep people away from the process.
Yeah, it could be. Or it's like a complicated world out there.
It is a complicated world, but things are overly complicated when you're actually
Well, I
trying
think
to
there's
get
a
in.
lot of assumption that you need to be in law or lawyer in order to be in politics. And I think you did have an early interest in law, I know, as a child. But it was
Legally Blonde was my favorite movie. But Elle Woods was one of the best role models that we had at that time.
so but you never know when that influence kicks in.
And so, yeah, I did want to be a lawyer for a little while.
You did.
I do tend to...
I did used to call you the master negotiator because you if I said no, that was just the beginning of the negotiations. So anyway, so yeah, you've got negotiating skills, and
now my kids are that way, so it's really come full circle.
That's
it's
right.
fun.
That's right. So, but anyway,
But I wanted to learn how to be an advocate.
Right. Okay.
And so now I am learning, is it fire by baptism, baptism by fire?
Baptism by fire.
On how to be an advocate. Yeah, I jumped in the deep end for learning how to advocate for my community, my kids, the environment, the arts, I did not think that I would be dealing with immigration issues in my home city. I didn't think that was going to be a thing yet, but that has come to the surface already.
There's another saying that all politics is local, and so you're finding that out. But let's get back to the art connection.
Yeah.
So one of the things about Hoover is it does not have a large art center.
No, none.
It's a city of about 100,000 people. Is that right?
A little under, but
it's it's a sizable population. It's one of the bigger cities in the state, and they do have. They have the Hoover City Library, which is really nice.
It's phenomenal.
They have the Hoover Met for the sports events, but they don't really have a dedicated place for especially visual arts.
No.
But you can tell the story.
So there is $17 million that the city has in bond money. So that is taxpayer money that is already allocated specifically to put in a performing arts center. But they had not really consulted with a lot of artists about what that should look like. And the city has been sitting on that money for 3 years. So when I found this out, I actually found out because the city was starting to take money out of this fund and put it into the sewer system, which our sewer system also needs work. But we spend $300,000 or some crazy amount on turf for sports.
Okay.
Pretty frequently. So I was like, why are we taking this out of an art budget that's already super underfunded?
Right. Art literally going down the drain.
It was a pipe. Our art dreams were a pipe dream, and so I started going to city council meetings, and a group of us showed up. Demanded answers and got the money put back into the art budget. So now we still have $17 million, but there is no formal plan for an art center. And I started calling it a public art center so they could keep their same PAC instead of performing, which is public. And so they are calling, I think more and more people are calling it the public art center.
Because, you need the visual arts in general, and that it doesn't need to be so specific.
Right. And we have the Hoover High School built a really nice performing arts center. So we do have that, but it's not available to all residents of the city. It's really just through the schools. So we need something that is available to all residents that accompanies. There you go. all art accompanies all art. We need something in Hoover that accompanies all art.
So that's one of your biggest topics. And that you could spearhead a committee for that if you're on the city council to make sure. And I think The other thing that you would like to do is actually talk to people and listen to people who are involved in the arts to see and get their advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think getting advice from the community and having the community come in and advocate for what they want to see is going to drive community involvement and make it actually the place that it should be. And I think without input from the community, we're going to get something that is underused and just wrong for the needs of the city.
And have you been talking to people already?
Yeah, and like, so one of the things that I learned from talking to the artist that they sent out a survey, I guess, to ask artists what they would want in a studio space. And I know before they had pitched the idea to a lot of the artists in Hoover of having a 10 by 10 windowless studio for $700 a month. And so they said, well, I don't want this studio.
Because they got it mixed up with art, like a
prison?
No, like art. That I've seen this before. They think because people have art booths at art fairs that are 10 by 10, and so they're like they mix up like the selling with that production, which you need a lot.
It's not.
You need a lot bigger place.
And I was like, so they said, well, the artist can't afford $700 a month. Well, that might be true a lot of cases, but it wasn't about the $700 from the people I talked to. It was about that no one wants to pay $700 for a windowless 10 by 10 spot. You can't do anything there.
It's way too small.
Yeah.
Right.
And you need light.
So so just like ask the people who are actually involved. What a concept.
And in the Hoover, the Performing Arts Center, they have no dressing rooms.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't know, but I learned that this weekend from talking to people. There's no dressing rooms.
Yeah, and that is also one of those things where you don't really want to be changing in front of people on stage.
You can live out your dream and like go on stage naked.
Well, let's not many people want that.
Whose dream is that now?
Well, you know.
Have it all the time.
Like not a good dream.
No, like a bad dream, like a nightmare where you go out.
Although I have to say this, just like because we're trained in art, and you know a lot of the training for drawing really comes from we call it live drawing, but it's really getting a naked model, a nude model, to be willing to pose, and then you do the studies from that. Anyway, it's really hard to find people who are willing to do that. So.
Well, I'm sure Hoover has one or two.
Okay. That's neither here nor there, right?
So I've been talking to a lot of the residents, and I talked to somebody that lived in a city with elderly population.
Are they willing to be nude?
That was not what we talked about,
okay.
But I don't want to speak for them.
Okay.
But a lot of the, old ladies that might be listening right now were starting to feel isolated in this town, and so they started a community garden project.
Okay.
And I have thought about this with the art center, and really art is life is art, and an art center should serve as a third space in a community for people to come and gather and support each other and become friends despite political differences and economic backgrounds.
And I think that's, one of the things we're trying to do here at the studio is to be another third space, and it's starting to be that. So, so in addition to being, a gallery, a studio, now we're the podcast center, and all kinds of people come in and just chat and have a good time.
And where are we?
We are at 2420 Gary Fitz Street, downtown Tuscaloosa.
Now called Gary Fitz Street.
Yes. So what are some of the other issues you'd like to talk about as a city council person?
So this one is something that is close to my heart. I know how much families can struggle, and Hoover has a ton of young families as well as older families. It's really a family-oriented city. But with the bill that's being proposed in the White House, cuts to SNAP are looking like an increased reality, and I deeply worry about families being fed in Hoover. We are considered an economic hub for the rest of the state.
Okay.
And the fact that we have as much food insecurity as we do is it's the sad reality that we face.
Because I think the perception of Hoover, and for people outside of the state, I mean, you may think Alabama is all one thing, but it's not.
No, Alabama has pockets of
Hoover's pretty
extreme wealth.
Pretty wealthy.
We joke that it's the haves and the have-mores, but it's really not that way in Hoover at all. And I just don't think that a city that, touts itself as an economic hub should have as much food insecurity as we do.
So do you think you want to have a local program?
We need
address
to,
it?
we really need to make sure we have some existing programs. For example, students that are out of school can get free lunches through the summer. Although last year they paused that program and then they brought it back.
Okay.
But it's just making sure that those programs continue and have the resources and the funding to expand their reach and make sure that they're accessible to families that struggle with things like gas to even go pick up the
right,
food.
and just to think it through.
In the library, our public library is fantastic, and they do have a free community pantry.
Okay.
And so my campaign has been sending donations to the free community pantry regularly.
If someone wants to donate, do you have we can put the information
Yeah,
on
all you have to do is literally show up at the library during their hours they're open, and you bring them non-perishable items.
That's
and
great.
in addition
That's
to
fantastic.
food, they also need like sanitary items and
just things they can't you would just need every day.
yeah. And then also the other thing that we are currently trying to collect, sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but a lot of the schools' art budgets, this is no surprise to anyone, are very low, and our teachers do not have enough funding to buy the art supplies that they need, even in well-funded schools, like the Hoover schools are. And so we are going to be collecting art supplies at the next farmers market in Ross Bridge, but also if you would like to make art supply donations, you can drop them off at my studio in Bluff Park. Until then, so we're going to be getting.
Okay. And you know what? Let's add that if you have art supplies, you can drop them off in Tuscaloosa at the studio here for anyone local, and I can get them to Liz. Or there's probably a need in Tuscaloosa too.
There is a need here. There's definitely
It's
probably
right.
a need
Yeah,
here. You should probably just collect for Tuscaloosa.
But so there's always some need, especially the arts always gets underfunded, and that's just a shame.
Yeah, and I've been really thinking about the lack of art and community and what that means on a broader scope, because art will increase property value, but not only does art is under, what's the word for it? I don't think people see the monetary value in art.
It's intrinsic.
There's an intrinsic value to it that is way under recorded.
Well, and a lot of places that have gotten like prohibitively expensive in ways, in a lot of places in cities, they started off like cheap areas like New York City lofts. They were just, artists moved in because they were great studio spaces, and so they created a community, they created the art, and suddenly they get displaced by people because they're raising property values.
They raised the property values and then got themselves kicked out. So it's like one of those things where you have to see, okay, look at what they did,
so
but let's keep them here.
That's why we're in Hoover and Tuscaloosa, because it is still affordable. So,
it is,
compared to like some of the bigger cities. But also it just shows you what art can do, for the general well-being of everyone.
So let's make sure that the artists have a place where they don't get kicked out.
Yeah, they need to have a place to work. And they're kind of messy sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
just a little bit. But I was thinking about how, when you're a kid, like a lot of kids, I've taught children, not a lot of kids because I don't teach art classes, but on occasion, I do a kids art class. And the thing about kids is they're so free and they're so creative and they have so little barriers in the way holding them back. And then they get to school and they slowly lose that creative ability because it's not they don't see it as valued in the school. And what you are losing when you don't nurture that creative ability is this skill in abstract reasoning, higher level thinking, the ability to put things together that other people don't see as going together. And we're missing so much in society because art is not valued at that young level and is reprimanded to some degree.
And I think just also there's just this level of people get bored.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trained to just look at things passively on the phone, and art is guarantees you won't be bored.
No.
Right.
Well, but it's
Because
okay to be bored,
It's
though.
okay to be bored, but what I mean,
I think if you're bored, then you have time to fill it with creativity.
right, that's what I mean. You know, just like to actually take something from inside of you and express it, whether it's it includes performing arts.
And
too.
art is, any type of art is deep
It is.
internal work.
Yeah.
And writing too.
And writing any music, writing, theater, visual arts, any of it, when you go and you set out to do that, that is this deep internal work that you're doing. And like, we value exercise, but when someone just goes and says, I'm gonna write for the sake of writing, people are saying, well, are you published? What are you doing with this? And it's like, no, I'm doing this for myself because it makes me a better person. And think about that on a societal level. If we don't give people credit and let them have space and time to do these things, like, we create a society that is less than it could be.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so as an elected official, I will make sure that people have the time and space to be creative.
Which is really a different thing than most politicians are talking about. But just to bring you back to like something that's a little more like on the normal political side, just a little bit. One of the things one of your platforms for your campaign is about the environment.
Yes.
And so it's not really so much tree planting as it is the problem with overdevelopment. Or not thought out development.
Yes.
So one of the main things that I've seen and we've all seen, and you've had it directly at your house, is flooding.
Yes. Flooding is a huge issue everywhere. And with a changing climate, it will become more and more of a problem. Our floodplains are changing. And if cities don't take it seriously, then our kids will not be able to call the cities they grew up in home. You know, it will not be the city that they grew up in. It'll be different from flooding issues.
It kind of surprises people, but like if you excavate and change different levels, and then you take out native plantings and everything that used to hold the water, well, suddenly all that water's got to go somewhere.
It's concrete does not absorb water.
It's going to go into your house, or it's going to flood a street, and your car is going to float away, sometimes with you in it. So that's
So what developers have done in Hoover is I feel like they don't understand that, or they know they're not going to be the ones affected by the consequences of development. And I think it's more that that they build upstream. And then the people downstream face these catastrophic flooding issues, and the city is like, well, we're not responsible for this because, that's on your property.
And the geology and geography of Hoover it's very hilly.
It's very hilly. We're at the base of the Appalachian Mountains, technically. We have
one of the little fingers of the Appalachian.
We have so much biodiversity because of that, and we really, that's just another reason to protect it. But in addition to that, like, if you buy a house in a city, you should expect that house to not be flooded. And I feel like that's just like a basic reality of when you buy a house. And unfortunately, with the developments going in, that's not been the case. And a lot of people have had these really severe flooding issues. We bought a new house, and I think we spent like $20,000, $30,000 to redo our backyard, because our neighbors did work in their backyard, and then it ended up running off into ours, and we're at the base of a hill also. So it was just...
you were having to bail
we were
having
having
it rained.
to bail water out away from the house a year after we bought it.
Yeah, it was kind of scary.
Yeah, in the middle of the night with two young kids, not what you want to do. And the people that build those houses should be held accountable, but they're not.
Right. They're gone.
They're gone. Yeah. They change names, they declare bankruptcy, and they're gone, and they should not be allowed to do that.
So as a person on the city council, you're going to be really a voice for people who don't have another voice.
For homeowners, yeah, they don't have a big lobby to represent them. And with future developments, this is definitely something that sits at the front of my mind, as well as disrupting the natural ecosystem that preserves everything. So, you know, we have tons of space in Hoover actually that is sitting empty. And we have developers that just want to tear down more trees and build, build, build. Well, why don't we revitalize a space that we already have built? Concrete does not absorb water. Concrete does not provide life.
And I think there's a lot of cities right now that are relooking at like a lot of unused office space, retail space, turning it into residential, which is a great idea.
Use that.
It's not easy, but they can do it.
And this directly ties into small businesses too, because Hoover has a lack of minority and women-owned small businesses. And we are underrepresented in that population. And the city should be incentivizing us to add in retail, walkable retail, and we have spaces that are underutilized currently. And so if the city could come up with some kind of program to bring people in and to use those spaces, I think it would add a lot to the city. It would add a lot to property value, you know, and it would be environmentally friendly because we wouldn't be building these giant
it's a win-win
parking lot things. We already have them.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back.
Okay.
Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Hit that like button for us. Show us a little love. And while you're here, why not add a comment or two? Because we love hearing from you. Thanks.
Okay, welcome back to the Old Lady Hour with Lorrie and Sheryl. We're here with our guest, Liz Lane, who's running for Hoover City Council, and she's also an artist. And as an artist, has been and continues to be a small business owner. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about how you became a gallery owner, not just in addition to being an artist, which is enough. You decided to launch out into owning a business, and then that's been continued for, was it 7, 8 years now?
It's been a while.
Been a while. So
yeah.
Just anything you want to say about that?
So can we do something real quick that we did off on our break?
Yes.
Just want everyone to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out.
It's good to remember, because I will find myself at the end of the day, and then I realize I have not been breathing at all.
Everyone just breathe.
Yeah. And even when I paint, people think when you're painting you're relaxed. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a kind of, and I'll grip my non-painting hand, which is my left hand, and at the end of the day, my hand is just, it hurts because I'm just like concentrating. So put some of that concentration into like gripping a hand.
Yeah.
So you think it's really fun and relaxing, and it can be, but sometimes it isn't. All right.
Okay. So the world's a lot, but I just wanted to. So small business, when did I start? I grew up in the arts because you're a painter. And then I tried to do everything but the arts. And
I did not encourage Liz. I thought it's a weird life. It's a little bit too difficult.
Yeah.
Especially economically. I mean, it's real possible, but it's
uncertain.
The chances of it being a possible economic future.
And so Liz she enrolled at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and
graduated in fashion design,
and you're also a Blunt Scholar, which is it's a liberal arts program. So she had, you have the combination of liberal arts with fashion design in the College of Human and Environmental Sciences, and then you graduated, and now you're like, now what?
So yeah, I graduated during the tornado year.
Tornado year was also still a recession.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So I tried to move to New York City. That did not work out. I'm kind of.
Well, you were just there for the summer.
No, but I tried to get I was interviewing for jobs there.
That's
yeah.
Right.
And then
I did forget.
and it wasn't working out. So, and that was fine. Like they wanted to pay, I think like $20,000 a year without health insurance in New York City. And that, like at that time, I guess this was 2011.
Yes.
I'm sure there are many people that got better job offers than that.
I think it went into 2012 because you were still you were still interviewing and having to pay for your own interview,
Like flights.
from Birmingham to New
Yeah.
York.
Ugh,
It was
very
right, and it was
elementary.
it was right before your wedding.
Yeah, and so I was engaged, and so my husband and I got married in 2012. I'm bad with numbers. And then, so we got married and we decided to try to make Birmingham home because we could move in with his dad and we thought there were more jobs there. So we did. We moved to Birmingham and settled in with his dad. So that was.
You got a real estate license.
I got my real estate license. I hated doing that, but gave it a go. And then I started working part-time at a gallery gift shop called Four Seasons in Homewood, and I was writing pretty nice checks to the artists.
And you loved it.
And I loved it. Oh yeah, it was so much fun.
And you'd always worked part-time retail.
I'd always worked in retail. Yeah, since I was like 15,
Yeah.
I'd worked in retail.
Yeah.
And so, I was having fun with it, and then I was gonna have my first child, and I was like, well, I'd already started painting at that point. And they were nice enough to let me sell my paintings at the store, and then I was selling them in parking lots, and I was actually
And you started doing some little
making
shows.
money from the little parking lot art shows, and I was making more selling art than I was at my day job. So.
But I have to say, what were some of the things you were painting on?
Oh, well, so, art supplies are expensive.
They are.
And so I would go around, and art's really innovative. Nothing should stop you from creating art. Okay. So I was going around and to construction sites and pulling wood out of dumpsters and sawing and sanding it down and gessoing it and painting fashion illustrations on pieces of 1x4s and 2x4s.
So those people who got those for like $25.
I was selling them for $35.
Okay, $35. Well, hang on to them. Because you've got an original that
Those are collector's items.
they are now.
Don't do those anymore, really. So
Right, but they were very popular, and then you just kind of kept going.
yeah, and then so when my oldest daughter was 1. I decided that I needed to, no, I think she was younger than that. She had rolled over into a pallet of white paint, like white oil paint, and we had to call poison control.
Oh, yes.
And it was just titanium white, so it was fine. They were not worried about it.
Right.
The poison control. But my father-in-law tried to use gasoline to get it off.
No, he didn't.
No, we stopped him before he did.
Oh
We
my
used,
God.
we
He
called,
did it,
we called
actually.
you and we used baby
Yeah,
oil.
yeah. Yes, I got a call and say, how do we get the oil paint? I'm like, just get some baby oil.
So with baby oil, we wiped the paint from her face.
She's fine.
And she's fine now. But at that point, I think I decided I needed to move my studio out of my house. And I had also been having some issues getting representation and getting into shows. And, and it was like when I had the representation and when I got the shows, I was selling, but I couldn't get in. So I decided, well, I'll just open up my own studio space and I will have it be a gallery. And so I did. When I was 27, I found a very old building that was covered in carpet squares that smelled like cigarettes. And
Those are the best kind.
we had a very low home done renovation budget.
It was like,
That you
my
probably
husband, her
gave to
father,
me.
her father was just retired, so
Yeah.
he had time to work on it.
So
And one of your brothers helped,
yes.
and they're pretty handy.
Yeah, so we called it throwing lipstick on a pig.
Yes,
And
it looked okay.
it was okay. We dumped white paint on everything.
You paint everything white, put some art up. It looks great.
It looks great. So that's what we did. We put white paint everywhere, and then we put art on the walls. And I was there running a successful business for 5 years until the building gave out and my ceiling caved in.
That was scary.
Yeah.
So, and I have to say, because I've had similar experiences, just because to make it affordable, we work in old buildings.
Yep.
And we put up with a lot of
And
things.
old buildings tend to be prettier
And
too.
they're pretty.
They have nice windows.
They're beautiful sometimes, but they
It
also.
depends on the building.
It depends on the building, but we could have a whole show just on my disasters in buildings and my infestations. But
We could.
we could, but we are right now. our buildings are good, and I'm infestation free, so I just put that
Yes,
out
there are no bugs, and the ceilings are all in place.
Yeah, and so anyway, but you moved from there to your
We've-
current location
in Bluff Park.
So
Yes,
you're in Bluff Park. It was a little closer to
to home.
Yeah.
And now it's more of a studio than a gallery, but
sure.
that's been kind of the journey of having a gallery. I had one in Asheville for a little while that.
And at one point
Closed
in the Homewood store, you must have represented probably
Like-
15 artists.
Yeah,
So
I think
you-
between Asheville and here,
right.
probably like 20 people.
So you had to do a lot of gallery management.
Yes, and so I understand all the ins and outs of employees, payroll,
Yep.
taxes.
The whole.
But in reality, you don't need a gallery, correct?
No, I am trying to just focus on my own art at the moment, and city council because
Right.
you know,
But
I
I'm just saying,
can't do
but
just one thing.
you've had plenty of experience as a small business owner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's, like, people are a little bit surprised that artists do more than just, like, walk around and think weird thoughts and have no idea about the real world.
Yeah.
But we have to be really practical, especially in
Yeah.
visual arts, because you're dealing with materials, supplies.
It's manufacturing.
You're really making gifts. And so, and then particularly if you are representing yourself and are representing others, or you have a studio space and you've got to get city licenses and state licenses and comply with sales tax and reporting. And, you know, there's a lot going on.
And you have to know how to throw a good party.
You have to
get
do-
people there.
Right. You have to do advertising.
All the things.
You have to talk to people. You
Yeah.
have to, keep records. You have to have a lot of. So I mean, I just think that, and it's good. It's like,
If everyone ran a gallery at some point in their life, they would probably be a better person.
Right,
for
or,
it. It's
you
like
know-
working in food.
yeah, and
Everyone
just like,
should work in food. Everyone should work in a gallery.
It can look glamorous on the outside, but I'm also the one that cleans the toilets. So it's overall, you get to do whatever you want here.
Yes.
And I said, in general, if you are self-employed, it's also being self-employed.
Yeah.
You can work whatever 80 hours you want.
Yes, there's a lot of flexibility with your schedule.
So
Yeah, you can work at 2 a.m.
That's
to
right.
4 a.m.
There you go.
When your kids are little,
And
and
then-
that's when you can work.
what has it been like being an artist with 2 young children?
So the hardest time was when COVID hit, and my husband used to travel every other week. And so I had the gallery, I had other artists I was representing, and some artists do have some big personalities about how they want things done. And then I had 2 children with big personalities and that don't like to sleep. And so I think I was so tired during that time period that I could have fallen asleep standing up. So everything past that seemed really easy, actually.
So right now it's like easy.
Now it's easy peasy. No, it's never easy. But so yeah, during COVID, that was just really challenging because I was, I think that part made me realize how important a community is because, in the early days of COVID, we didn't have that same community. You couldn't be together. And so I really learned what it was like to do things on your own. Mm-hmm. And it was too many things for one person to be doing, really. And it gave me a lot of empathy for parents that, don't have that community network and are trying to raise a family and just do the right thing on a day-to-day basis. But there's breaking points and limits.
There are. I mean, and I had a little of that in the summers when I was when I was part of a gallery, and you were just out of kindergarten going into first grade, and I had to be at our little gallery in downtown Northport, and I didn't have childcare, and so I just brought a tent and we set up the tent.
I've done that.
Back. Yep, the tent works. And then whenever anyone would come in, you would have a little drawing, and you just come out and say, "Buy this for me, it's $1."
Oh.
And people did. You made more money that summer than I did.
Talk about collector's items.
Really?
Well, then I just wanted to take it down to the 5 and 10. We don't have those anymore, but
That's
is
right.
that still there in downtown?
It's still
Northport?
there.
Okay.
It's still there.
I just wanted to get money to go get like dollhouse furniture from the 5 and 10, so I
Right.
was motivated. But
I also think you like this. You like the sale, like you like.
oh, I love the sale.
Yeah,
the sale
and
is fun.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing about that I would just like to say that you've been a successful artist, and I'm sure will continue to be, and that includes financial success.
Yeah.
So some of what people think of as art is the starving artist. That's just, but it doesn't have to be. There's a lot of artists that are doing just fine.
And there should be more artists that aren't starving.
Right, but there's a lot who are not.
There's a lot that are not.
Yeah, and so I think that there's a whole economy of this that people aren't necessarily familiar with.
Well,
But
think about like you open an app on your phone. What are you going to?
right,
You're going to Spotify. What's there? Music.
yep,
What is that? Art. You
Yeah.
go to Netflix. What is that? Movies and TV. What is that? That's art.
and really,
It's a whole economy.
I'm sorry, but AI is going to try to do that, but
And
we're
it
going to get
can't do
tired
it.
of it.
But the thing with
Yeah.
AI is it feeds off of what we've already done.
Right.
It learns from what we've already done. There's no novelty in it.
Yep.
And if you want novelty, which is all art is, it's alchemy, it's novelty, that comes from human innovation, and AI will never be able to do that. And that's why I can sleep at night when I think about AI.
And your success is why you don't necessarily have to represent other artists now, too.
Yes.
Because you don't really have time to have a gallery presence.
I do like representing other people though. It is fun. I do kind of miss it. So sometimes I did a show called Pretty Angry was that like a month ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. And I brought in artists that I thought did artwork that it was not really like your living room art. Like it had
It's
more,
kind of
it
more
made more of a statement.
Kind of statement art, yeah.
And I don't think there's enough space in our society for the art that does make a statement. But right now, especially in this time period, we need to be documenting in
Right.
more than words what is happening.
Right.
And in some kind of an emotional outlet too.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
is helpful. So
Not just for the artist, but for the
Right.
viewer. Everyone needs that.
And I think in art, in many careers, but particularly in visual arts, you just have to be always evolving, always maybe looking for opportunities, and sometimes like the career path is it's not going to be the same from year to year.
No, it changes every year. I mean, it's as evolutionary as the art you're creating, as the path that you take to fulfill it. And
So-
I know it constantly changes for me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, just because I think we have this notion that when something ends, that's just like a bad thing.
No, it's just
And
like, let's move on to the next.
you just go on to
you
the
did
next,
have,
yeah.
do you want to say anything about the Asheville store?
I had a terrible experience with a sociopath in Asheville, North Carolina, and he has an open warrant in the state of Alabama. So if you're listening, don't ever come here. You will be arrested. And he's done this to other people, and he reminded me of Donald Trump. And that's, I guess, all I want to say about that.
Well, it was a subleaser.
It was a subleaser.
It wasn't another artist.
No, well, he was another artist.
Oh, okay, but
Sort of. He wasn't a real
the
artist.
relationship you had was a
subleaser.
subleasing.
He
Yes.
was a con man.
He was a con man.
And yeah, it was a dangerous situation.
Yeah. But it's gone. It's
But
done with.
it's gone now, and I just, but you did have for a while 2 working galleries. So that was a big
It's a lot.
venture.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think that at that time in my life, that was what was right for me. And at this point in my life, I need other things. And so just, that's why
Well,
I'm
so
doing this.
so is the Hoover City Council position, is it part-time or full-time?
It is very part-time, y'all. I will still be painting full-time.
So,
This is like an itty bitty baby political thing. Like I said, I'm jumping in the deep end, but really I am still definitely in the baby pool of politics.
okay,
Like,
but I mean, it's still, it's still a responsible position.
yeah, I mean, and it is, and people really, really want this. And I don't want it for myself. The reason I'm doing it is because I know that our city needs it and my kids need it, and our kids need people that are responsible leaders and civil servants. But I myself could care less about
You don't want
being
the
in this
power, you
position.
don't care, right? You're just doing it because you feel like you want to be a public servant.
But the really cool thing is, I mean, if I'm elected, I will do whatever I have to do to make things as good as I can make them be. You know, it's think global, act local. But the amazing thing on this political journey is that I have met so many people that have the same kind of mindset and are running for office right now.
Do you want to mention some of them?
Yes. My friend Ashley Dunham is running for Alabama Supreme Court Justice.
Ooh, that sounds difficult.
She has to, so if you are in Alabama, you better show up to vote for her, okay? Alabama Supreme Court Justice.
What's her name?
Ashley Dunham.
And we'll put the information on the YouTube.
Yes, Ashley is an amazing woman. She is a great mom. She's a good, loyal friend. She's helped me on my campaign. We bounce campaign ideas off of each other, even though hers is much larger than mine is. And she's really just become this like integral part of my community. And she had so her daughter was created through IVF, and it was a long journey for them. And then IVF has come under attack in the state of Alabama, and so she is definitely fighting for all families to be able to, you know, have kids when they want to have kids and have reproductive justice and rights. And
And we may need her on our podcast as well.
I think she should come on the podcast.
Are there other people running for the city council?
Yeah, so my friend Christian Coleman is running in place 4, and
Christian Coleman, so we'll put his information.
Yeah, he is a dad. He is a poet he has an MFA in poetry.
Yes, and he's a graduate, also a 2011
Yes.
tornado graduate from the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And also is in the reserves, so military.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And he's a nice guy.
And he's a nice guy, and he's a good leader. He's president of the Hoover Dems currently. So, and then Wayne Rogers just announced he is running for Secretary of State.
Okay, Wayne Rogers.
And he works for the Jefferson County Police Department. He has also really helped me with my campaign.
Can we call him Mr. Rogers?
We just call him Wayne, but I was like, I'm sure he has like a official title, like Sheriff Rogers or something.
I was just
The
thinking,
Honorable Mr. Rogers.
I was
need to
just
find out
thinking,
what we're supposed to call him.
Right, he needs to use that font that Mr. Rogers did for his campaign. just a little advice from me.
I would take it.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
That's right. Won't you be my neighbor?
Won't you be my neighbor?
And vote for me, Mr. Wayne Rogers.
Yes, no, he's great. He's been super kind and supportive of my campaign. And he doesn't really know me, so that just kind of tells you.
Yeah, he's just being helpful.
He's just a helpful person.
Like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he would be a terrific Secretary of State, and maybe if he's elected, you will actually be able to log on to the Alabama, what website is it? To check your voter registration and where you go and
to find
see
out
what district you're in, and it'll all be correct, because right now it's not.
It's not correct, right?
Yeah.
It's really difficult to even know who you're supposed to vote for.
It told me I was in the wrong district in the last
Right.
election.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not updated. So
Listen up, Northport.
okay.
And so when I say it's hard to figure out how to be politically involved, this is kind of part of the problem.
Right, because I want to point out that a democracy really depends on people being part of it.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think sometimes we put, a big separation between those who are politicians and the rest of us, but really we're all supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yes.
Just a reminder.
Oh, and Mandy Ledkins is running in District 14.
Okay,
So vote for her. She's a
Okay.
mom.
great. Good.
She's great. She's got great commentary on TikTok. She's hilarious.
Okay,
So,
so that's, and did we forget anyone?
yes, we've forgotten all sorts of people.
Okay,
but
we'll put.
I'm gonna just like come up with a list.
Yeah, we'll have a list on the our brains are a little tired. It's the weekend, so.
Elizabeth Anderson is running again.
Okay, Elizabeth Anderson, and
Yeah.
she is running for.
Against Gary Palmer and.
Oh, okay, so the House representative.
In district.
Well, we'll find out. It's one of the House districts for the U.S. government.
Yes.
Not the state. So that's
This
a
is
federal.
a federal election. Yeah,
Okay.
and she is amazing. I've had lunch with her a couple of times now. She was also a Blunt graduate.
Okay.
And
Roll
Tide.
Tide.
Roll Tide. And also Katie Britt graduated from this program, but
That's nice.
we don't need to talk about that.
War Eagle.
But vote for Elizabeth. She is an amazing leader, and she has the right mentality with Alabama politics, which is it's not going to happen overnight.
That's right.
These are seeds that we're planting, and you don't get to eat the fruit the next day you plant the seed. You know, this is, she said it's a baton race, so she's running so that she can hand the baton off, and each time we can get a little closer to the finish line.
Great. Well, that's good. We're getting there.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to pivot just one last time.
Okay.
The last part of this podcast for our millions of listeners.
That's right.
Say it into, manifest it.
And I would just like you to talk more about your painting process and some of the things that you think about in painting. And we'll have the information on how you can see these on your Instagram, on your website. But just talk a little bit about why you like to paint and what that is for you.
So I'd say like to paint is kind of the wrong word.
Okay, what you feel compelled.
Yeah, it is definitely this thing that I can't not do, and it's always been a thing that I can't not do. I have to get in front of the canvas daily. I don't feel right if I don't.
And the subject matter is not really puppies and kitties.
It is not puppies and kitties, although I have done puppies and kitties, forced.
Yeah, once you did, I remember you did rabbits.
Oh, I don't know. I've done all sorts of things. I mean, I do draw. I just like sketch and doodle all the time too. But I do abstract expressionism. So it's usually there's not a defined subject. I would say it is this tangible. I'm trying to make this universal collective feeling that we all have a little bit more tangible to the viewer. And I guess more tangible to myself as well. I think whenever you get into true art, it is like a journey of self and how that relates back out to the rest of the world. And each painting unearths something, and I go deeper, and sometimes there's nothing there, and that's frustrating, and I guess that's called creative block.
You don't have a lot of block.
Oh no, I push through it when I have it.
You're pretty prolific, I think, is what I get characterized as that, but I think you're even more.
I don't know. Right now I'm not feeling that.
You're not feeling it was summer. It's all right.
Yeah, my workday's been a little interrupted.
You did just get back from a trip to
We got
Italy.
back from a trip to Italy. That actually I think was really good for my work.
Uh-huh.
So I'm working on a new collection that is based, well, and I was going to base it around like the terracotta colors and the buildings and the food. And then I got back and that wasn't what I wanted to paint. And I think that's what I've been wanting to paint is a sense of freedom to go and be wherever you need to be and go do things that you need to go do. And I'm still trying to like iron this out in my head and in my art, but I think like being able to take my two girls on this trip and like having them able to like freely walk around a different country without me pushing them in a stroller or carrying them actually was like this really freeing experience.
Because they are not the same as when you traveled before when it was difficult.
No, they're
not babies.
They're not
anymore.
attached to my body physically anymore. And so I felt, well, a little bit, but I mean, yes, they still want to sit in my lap and hug me and, you know, all the things.
But they're not babies.
I'm not wearing them in a sling around my body anymore. I'm not breastfeeding on like the corner while I'm trying to enjoy lunch or dinner. Like it's just a totally different experience traveling with them now. And that was really nice. And it just made me feel like, okay, we could kind of be okay anywhere Not anywhere in the world. There's a lot of really terrible places in the world. But we can go and we can
You can go and explore.
we can go explore. And like my kids are after this trip, they are able to go on a pretty long hike through the woods because we did so much walking and
what
like,
an opportunity for them.
What an opportunity for them. And so I think it like literally was just about this freedom to move.
Mm-hmm.
This freedom to have the motion that you need to have in the moment.
And then, do they also do some artwork with you?
They do some.
Or just on their own?
They do some on their own. Our house is full of art supplies. I almost feel like my kids sometimes have this, like, because I'm so like, you should do art, that they like rebel against me by not doing art, and they do other things.
They're going to become
instead.
accountants.
I will say my younger one is a master with words and jokes, and she loves to tell stories and jokes. And then Brooklyn actually has gotten a lot more into drawing lately. She loves fashion design,
And so,
she loves drawing.
She does. And I mean, but part of it is too, it's just that when you were growing up, I really didn't like teach you anything. I just really like, here's some paint, here's some art supplies. You do this while I work. So I had a chance to do something on my own.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
It was kind of like, here you go, and like you'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same thing that the girls are doing. I mean, honestly, when I take them to political events, like Brooklyn had her journal with her yesterday, and she has nothing else to do. This is why I'm like, I think it's okay for our kids to have this kind of unstructured board time because without screens, because she didn't have anything to do. So you know what she did? She got her journal out and she started drawing all the things that she saw in the space that we were in. So she got some really cool illustrations out of that, and she just sat there for like an hour and did it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it is.
She was bored.
It is. She was bored. I think that's how I started drawing.
Yes.
And during long church services, my mother gave me some pencil and I drew on bulletins.
Yes.
And then
I
I'm
think
like, that's it. That was it.
I think that we don't need to be so afraid to be bored.
Yeah. Just have that downtime and free space.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we could talk about art and technique and everything for hours and hours, but you know what time it is, Sheryl?
It's time to watch my shows.
It's time to watch my shows. Bye.
Bye.